Robert F. Bobby Kennedy was a brilliant man, ferociously intelligent, supremely eloquent, and passionately committed to protecting human rights. As U.S. Attorney General under his brother President John F. Kennedy, and later as a U.S. Senator, he was also astoundingly courageous, taking on organized crime and fighting for social and racial justice. He campaigned to lift America's neediest out of poverty, opposed the senseless war in Vietnam, and forged a powerful and transformative relationship with civil rights campaigner Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to help achieve lasting equality for Black people. Bobby was a tough, charismatic, and unifying natural-born leader who preached peace, not hate, which made his own assassination in 1968 so particularly horrendous for an America already reeling from the murders of his brother and Dr. Martin Luther King. Had he lived, I've no doubt he would have gone on to become one of the greatest presidents in United States history. In his memory, the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Foundation was established. Read more from Piers Morganpiers. Morgan United have betrayed me, made me black sheep, says Ronaldo in Piers interview. Piers Morgan: we've become a nation of lazy stay-at-home skivers. Britain is broken. Annually, it presents Ripple of Hope awards to those it believes best personify Bobby's ethos. They're named after a famous speech he gave in 1966 during a visit to apartheid-ravaged South Africa, in which he said, "Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." Previous winners include Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And now, at a star-studded ceremony in New York on December 6, 2 more names will be added to the illustrious list of winners: Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Most read in news: heartbroken mom critical after Blaze doesn't know her girls, 1 and 3, are dead. Pal says dolled up. I am a Barbie fanatic. I am unrecognizable after quadrupling my boob size to 80 ECANAL. Horror man, 40, fighting for life after being pushed into canal by gang of teens. Disgusting moment. Tesco delivery driver caught on Ring doorbell trying to kiss customer. No, that's not a joke. Though the reason they're being given, it made me laugh out loud, with utter jaw-dropped incredulity. Kerry Kennedy, one of Bobby's 11 children, and president of the foundation, announced the couple has always stood out for their willingness to speak up and change the narrative on racial justice and mental health around the world. They embody the type of moral courage that my father once called the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change a world that yields most painfully to change. Sorry, what? Watch Piers Morgan Uncensored weekdays on Sky 526, Virgin Media 606, Freeview 237, Freesat 217 or on Fox Nation in the US. It gets worse. Kennedy told the Daily Telegraph, they went to the oldest institution in UK history and told them what they were doing wrong, that they couldn't have structural racism within the institution, that they could not maintain a misunderstanding about mental health. They knew that if they did this there would be consequences, that they would be ostracized, they would lose their family, their position within this structure, and that people would blame them for it. They have done it anyway because they believed they couldn't live with themselves if they didn't question this authority. I think they have been heroic in taking this step. My God, heroic? It's hard to imagine two less heroic public figures in modern history than the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, a pair of greedy little grifters who ditched royal duty, and in Harry's case his country, to fleece their titles for gazillions to the highest commercial bidders. They preach about equality and poverty from their £11 million mansion in California, they preach about carbon footprints from private jets, they preach about privacy in self-promoting interviews and podcasts, and they preach about peace and unity as they constantly trash their families in public. What part of any of this lives up to the ideals of Bobby Kennedy? I'm not the only one shaking my head in horrified disbelief. It's a bewildering choice, said Kerry's brother, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Selfish money-grabbing hypocrites. And Professor David Nasaw, a renowned Pulitzer Prize-nominated Kennedy historian, raged, "I find it somewhere between sublimely ridiculous and blatantly ludicrous. It's absurd. If you look at the people who have been awarded the Robert Kennedy Prize in the past, then you have to ask, what are Harry and Meghan doing here? What in God's name have they done to merit this?" Exactly. To make this decision even more outrageous, another ripple of hope recipient this year is the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Yes, a magnificently inspiring, genuine hero who is literally risking his life every day to inspire his country to defeat Vladimir Putin's barbaric Russian invaders, is being put on the same award pedestal as two people whose idea of a hard day's work is abusing their parents on national TV. It's disgusting, and shame on Kerry Kennedy for promoting the farcical notion that Meghan and Harry are any kind of human rights heroes. They're not. They're selfish money-grabbing hypocrites intent on causing as much damage to the monarchy as they can whilst simultaneously cashing in on their royal status. As for their supposed courage in changing the narrative on racial justice and mental health, they've still not produced a shred of actual evidence to support their incredibly damaging claims of racism, and dismissiveness of Meghan's suicidal thoughts by the royals. In the next few weeks, they will unleash the next phase of their attack, a grubby tell-all documentary on Netflix, and Harry's equally grubby tell-all autobiography, Spare. It's the only currency they have, dishing the dirt on their families and on the institution that bestowed on them the titles they exploit so cynically and ruthlessly. Both the documentary series and book are believed to contain further incendiary allegations about the royals, and especially about Harry's father King Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla. That they'll be doing this just months after the death of the Queen, and before Charles is even coronated, is disgusting enough. But the fact they're being given this bogus cloak of honor and heroism by a charitable entity that represents someone as great as Robert F. Kennedy, is repellent. And to compound the distasteful farce, the event's host is actor Alec Baldwin, who is still waiting to hear if he will face criminal charges after accidentally shooting dead a female cinematographer on the set of his movie, Rust. In Britain, Harry and Meghan's popularity is now down with shamed Prince Andrew. We've all seen through this disingenuous duo's dangerous game of using race-baiting victimhood to fund their lavish lifestyle. But in the US, there's still a section of Americans, mostly among the gullible liberal elite, who fall for the lies, smears and general claptrap that spews from the Sussex's rich, privileged mouths about how terrible we all are over here, how intrusive the UK media is into their lives, oh, the irony, and how badly treated they've been by the callous, racist royal family. Facts don't matter, it's how Princess Pinocchio and her half-wit doormat husband feel that appears to count more. And they know the more they moan, the more money they get paid. After all, there's no wealth to be had from leading the quiet, content, private life in Santa Barbara that they claimed they wanted when they quit. Read more on the Sunsweet treat secret symbol spotted on Toblerone bar by Boy 10 Here's what it means TWO halves I went to Primark it was hit miss, the sections to visit and what to avoid they're total frauds who'll now use this award to validate their shameful antics. Bobby Kennedy will be turning in his grave at what his daughter's done in his name.